Yeah, green dude getting scrubbed.
Yep. There we go.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Which one is
spike
it?
ball.
G'day, ZiggyD here. In this video I'm going to talk a bit about Piety and Lunaris farming runs post patch 1.0.0 in Path of Exile. Now, a few things have changed, one of which was that bosses have had their loot drops in Merciless and Cruel difficulties buffed significantly, and the nature and the meta game of Path of Exile has changed quite a bit, especially in the new leagues where we're kind of starting from scratch again. So, at the current point in this Nemesis league that I'm playing at the moment, people are really desperate for decent endgame gear that can get them into the endgame, I should say. So this is like level 60 to 70 stuff with good life and resist and stuff that's going to get them into maps and get them farming themselves and getting themselves some better gear and upgrades and that sort of thing. So, there's really not that much gear in the game at the moment, so getting this sort of stuff is a good way to get yourself a good amount of currency at this point in the game. It's a good way to build wealth. So the way that I've been doing this for the past 2 days is farming Piety and doing Lunaris runs. Now this is a bit of a double whammy. We get a ton of experience from Lunaris runs by themselves, and we get a ton of loot from Piety. So for those of you guys who aren't aware, in patch 1.0.0, they buffed the loot drops of bosses significantly. Now they now drop more loot and they drop rarer loot and all good stuff. So you'll see in the background it like playing with a full party, and we have one character here with Magic Fine using Culling Strike. Piety's dropping a ton of rares, and it's pretty uncommon for it to drop blues even. So most stuff that she drops is rares, and there's a lot of them, and we also get quite a few uniques. So in just a couple hours today, I was able to accrue enough to really deck out my shop thread, and been making some pretty good currency since then. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been really exciting to get all these cool loot drops. So what's the actual process here? What's changed? I mean, people have done Lunaris and Piety runs for quite a while, you know, but with the way the level of scaling and things like that has changed, and with maps being very difficult in Nemesis League especially, this is a pretty nice, safe way to farm, and I even think it's a really great way to farm XP as well. Whereas people would farm docks pretty much all the time to get XP, you now have some options like library and things like that, but I actually think Lunaris is best. So if you're currently trying to get into the end game in one of the new leagues, I recommend trying to kit yourself up for Lunaris runs as soon as possible. So that means maxing out all 3 of your elemental resistances and making sure you're able to sustain damage from the different mobs in Lunaris. So just kind of do a few careful run-throughs just to test things out and see how they go. And if you're feeling confident, then start farming that and start doing some Piety runs if you can. So, let's go through the actual process of farming Piety. Now, I did it with a 6-man group today. I did it with Kriparian and Willy Wonka and a few of their friends. And we did probably what is the most efficient setup you can do. You can do this solo, you can do this just with a friend, but I'll talk about first what's the most efficient setup. So, what we do is we have a 6-man group. Everyone runs their own instance. Now we have one person always having their portal at Lunaris 3, just at the stairs to Lunaris 2. So basically all of us can run through that person's portal and use the stairs to refresh the instance. This saves everyone having to find the stairs down to Lunaris 3, which saves everyone, you know, like 5 minutes or something, or a couple minutes to 5 minutes, and you know, overall it's just a big increase. It's a really good way to set it up. I think that person just has to make sure they don't use any other portals to keep that portal there so that you can keep refreshing instances off of their portal. So everyone runs Lunaris 3 and gets to Piety as quick as possible. If you want to slow it down a bit and get more XP in there, if everyone's looking to get XP, you can do so. We all kind of did a little bit of killing. Some of us who can kill a bit faster did more killing, and people like myself whose DPS was a little bit low at the moment kind of just ran through and skipped most mobs and just killed the juicy packs, and that's kind of what I was doing. So you want to get to Piety as fast as possible, and then you want to each person open a portal outside of Piety. Now obviously the person who has their portal back at the stairs to Lunaris 2 doesn't do the run because they can't set up a portal. They just stay and wait in town, or I guess they can go farm some City of Sun or something like that. But everyone gets to Piety and they leave a teleport portal outside the instance to Piety, so you don't go through the red teleporter. Then everyone goes back into town, you wait until everybody is done, and then you just go through each person's instance and kill Piety. So you kind of chain Piety kills together. You know, you go through mine, you go through Crips, go through Willy Wonka's, you go through just each person's, and you get 5 Piety kills back to back. And then you simply go back and refresh. So each time you're getting a ton of loot, you're going to need a ton of wisdom scrolls. I had to go and buy quite a few. I was buying like 120 or 140 wisdom scrolls per chaos, and I was doing that quite a few times. And I'm still running pretty low on wisdom scrolls because we're just getting that many rares. And it's really, really fun and exciting to be in a new league and doing something like this and getting this really, really sweet loot that you know, people is in really high demand. Pretty exciting stuff. So I think that just about covers it. Just you know, make sure, try and get into doing it. The other thing I should mention is it's a really, really good idea if you're doing this to try and get at least one person who's stacking rarity and has culling strike. So that's either a power siphon or a culling strike support gem linked to one of their skills, and that person should have at least 100 something rarity. I think Willy Wonka was our color in this group, and he had about 140 rarity. I don't know exactly, but I think he was running something like that, and that makes a big difference to the amount of rares that you get and the amount of uniques that you get, more importantly. So having that person make sure to get each piety kill will ensure that you're getting even better loot than what you're already getting. But it's pretty good already in a 6-man group doing this on the bosses. It's pretty good. I'm a big fan of grinding gear games changing up the boss fights and that sort of thing. So hopefully you guys find this helpful. If you're getting close to endgame, maybe you want to jump in a piety farming group. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.